Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're off to an amazing week. I feel like I'm back to being myself. And that's really awesome. And that was kind of what inspired this video. Is over the past couple of weeks, I haven't been feeling well. I've been taking rest days. I haven't been eating at all really, but when I do, it's just kind of like whatever I feel like eating. And just all of these things that get me into just very negative self-talk, right? Is, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. I haven't worked out. I haven't been in my routine. And, all of these things that just kind of spiral into being this negative, a bunch of negative traits about myself. And I've learned to, hey, you know what? I have to slow it down. Sometimes we do have to take that time for ourselves. We have to take that time for our bodies. We have to listen to our bodies. But it also applies to everyday life. So really today's video, I wanted to just focus a lot on self-talk and how we can work on continuing to improve our self-talk, because believe it or not, you have anywhere from 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day. How incredible is that? 80% of our thoughts tend to be negative. So that's even more crazy when you think about it, of constantly thinking of bad things or negative things. And, we have to continuously work on how we can debate this or how we can confront this within ourselves and saying, okay, I might be thinking a negative thing today or right now in this instance, and how am I going to combat that? First of all, it's not a switch, right? We can't just say like, oh, I'm just this positive person, everything's gonna be great, and you just flip the switch and you're just happy. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, right? If not, we would all do it. It does take a lot of work. So we have to remember that our negative thoughts or our thoughts just in general, are triggered by stimuli. So stimuli can be anything. It could be a song that you hear. It could be a person walking by. It could be an activity that you do. It could be a positive thing. So we think about like getting a like on social media, or you just met a new person that you really like, or you just got a promotion at work, or you got this amazing new car. Super awesome, feeling super great. Or it could be something negative, like you just lost your job, or you just messed up on a goal that you set for yourself. So these little things are the stimuli that then create our thought process, right? So this action happens, it creates a thought process, therefore it creates a result. So the result could end up being you're just super depressed for the rest of the day if it's something negative and you just want to go home and sleep and binge eat. Or if it's something positive, you just want to go out and like celebrate with your friends and with your family and have some drinks and do all of the great things. So as an example of maybe sometimes where you can get stuck in the negative self-talk would be, say you just started a new diet, say you're paleo, right? And part of paleo is you don't eat any grains. And unfortunately, it's day 25 of your 30-day challenge of being paleo, and you eat a slice of bread. Boom, death. But it's not death, right? Like we feel like it's like death. But the reality is it isn't. So the moment you have this moment of weakness, you may be out with your friends, you have that piece of bread. And so then that piece of bread serves as the stimuli for you to now start thinking and reacting, oh my gosh, I'm this horrible person, I'm not committed, I'm a failure, just all these negative sentences that you keep saying about yourself. So after saying all these things to yourself, you just, again, shut down. So that builds up the reaction of shutting down and or of continuing down the spiral of being bad. So you're at the party, you have the piece of bread, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a total failure, I'm fat, who cares? I'm just like the absolute worst person on the planet. I just broke this diet. And then your reaction is, well, I already messed it up, so give me all the chips, give me more bread. And since I'm a failure, like, let's just see what other commitments I could break with myself and potentially with other people, because who cares anymore? I'm just this failure. So I would like for you to realize and like step back, like, has that ever happened to you? Like, have you ever had those moments where you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I messed up this one thing, so like it just messes up my entire life. Everything is ruined. And I'm sure you have. By no means am I a proponent of breaking your goals to yourself. I, by nature, am an achiever. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, and my first strength on Strength Finders is achiever. So trust and believe when I say that I have goals and have serious goals to meet, that I am committed to them. But I am also human, right? Like sometimes I mess up and I am disappointed in myself. Or sometimes I react a way that I didn't want to react. I yelled at somebody, or I did something else that just doesn't make me feel very good and puts me into this very negative spiral of self-talk. So I want to just kind of talk through a couple of ways to get out of there. The first thing to keep in mind is that we're all human and we all make mistakes, right? It's going to happen to us regardless of if it's in an interpersonal sense or in a goal sense. It is going to happen. So with that said, when you feel like you're going to be caving into whatever it is that the error is going to be, right? Like you get into a confrontation with your partner and you feel like you're about to raise your voice and explode, or you are at that party and they're serving food that's outside of your diet regimen, or whatever it may be, try to create space. So I talked about this in my other video as well when I was talking about the 10-3 rule, which is take 10 seconds to step back prior to reacting and create the space between you and the situation. So you and that person are in a confrontation, you're about to lose it, you're like literally here at your boiling point, but before you say the next word, you bite your tongue, create those 10 seconds of space, let it sink in, and then from there, you say, okay, I'm not going to make the mistake right now of raising my voice, and whether it be either walk away, or you could even choose to say, hey, can we pause this conversation right now? I need to talk about it later. Or with the situation with your diet, so instead of going over and getting the cookie or getting the bread or whatever it is, between like physical space, literally between you and the item, saying, do I really want this? I am on a goal to achieve this in the next X amount of days, or I'm changing my lifestyle, or whatever it is. And taking that moment to pause and really reflect on what it is that you want further than that moment. So number 2 is, like I said, create some space. Really stop trying to be so reactionary, and take it a little bit like take a couple steps back, really. And that not only helps you make a better decision, but it also helps stimulate your brain muscles, right? Because the stronger you become mentally in whatever it is that you do, it's going to create it's going to allow you to be a more mentally strong person, just in general. And really that's what we want to create, right? Is we want to create ourselves to be so mentally strong that when we're faced with obstacles in a variety of different areas in our lives, then we're able to accomplish them, or we're able to overcome them, just because we've continued to work on this muscle that we call mental strength. All right, it's like working out your muscles, it's like working on your brain. All right, the third thing is deciding that this decision doesn't define you. So if creating that space still wasn't enough for you and you decided to raise your voice, or you decided to go for whatever that meal was that you weren't supposed to, realize that doesn't just define you forever or even for a long period of time. So again, going back to the food example, is if you had that one thing that you weren't supposed to have, that doesn't mean like, okay, whatever, like my 30 days are wasted, I'm just a horrible person. No, it's, you know what, I made a poor decision. I still have 25 days to show for the amazing amount of time that I worked on this goal, and I'm going to continue to move forward. And then if you are, again, still falling down that negative self-talk of a spiral, is repeating what you said or repeating what you did in a positive fashion. So even your mind hearing the positives of whatever the negatives is that you did or that you said, is going to help trigger just more positivity in your brain. As an example, you're with the food situation, right? Instead of saying, oh, I'm a failure, oh, I'm fat, oh, I'm whatever, saying, hey, I made a mistake, I am strong, I am able to accomplish any goal that I want. I have accomplished 25 days of my goal. I'm gonna make sure that I hit the next goal. Or again, in that situation where you're shaming yourself for raising your voice in this scenario, saying, I am somebody who keeps their calm. I am the more mature person in this situation. I am able to control my emotions. So those affirmations helping you through the various kind of situations that you're going through is also very important. The next thing is just move on, right? Like there's only so long that you can sit there and just like be like, oh my gosh, this happened, and like just keep thinking about it over and over and over again, because again, the more you think about the negativity, the more that's just gonna either A, keep happening in your life, or B, you keep practicing that practice because you keep making it seem like it's normal in your mind. Remember that you react on the beliefs that you set out for yourself. So you can't let that one scenario or that one time continue to define you. Now, what we haven't talked about is negative self-talk due to outside influences like the beliefs of other people. So as an example, you could be going into a meeting at work and you're going to be meeting, say, with some really important people, and you immediately go into the meeting thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just like not prepared. I'm the youngest person in this room. I'm the oldest person in this room. I don't know what to expect. And you start getting all these types of anxious feelings, right? Just associated with these really negative self-talk that you start giving yourself. Or, you're going to go hang out with some friends and you know that your friends either agree or disagree with something, whether it be your lifestyle. And then you start thinking all these negative things of what's going to happen. You start getting anxious, like, oh, what's going to happen in this social situation? And what are they going to think about it? And then this is going to happen. And then they're going to judge me. And then we're going to fight. And then I'm going to leave. And then, right? Right. So you can kind of very easily, again, because of these external forces that are happening before you go meet with these other people, or because so-and-so believes X, Y, and Z about your life, it puts you like in such a negative headspace. You start going down this really negative spiral. So it's just so important to remember in these cases, just your uniqueness and how important your uniqueness is just in life in general. So aside from the steps that I already talked about, I think that more specifically in these scenarios, understanding the fact that, you are the way you are for a reason, right? Your whatever adjective it is that you want to put in there, like those, as long as they're positive things, right? Like all of these other characteristics that you have that are maybe a little bit different than the people that you're with, or kind of stand out a little bit more than others, and they're all qualities that make you you. They're so important to make sure that you actually show up as that person. The point of you being wherever it is that you are is because you are who you are. You are that unique person. You are bringing some unique perspective to the table. You are the one that is maybe going to change someone's mind. I mean, we live in the 21st century, right? All of these things that we have to continue to remember that imperfection is such a beautiful thing, and we really need to just embrace it. And as nervous as we might be, remember that the magic happens here and your comfort zone is over here. So it's way outside of your comfort zone, and God or the universe, however you want to think about it, puts us in these scenarios to stretch us to be our better selves, and they stretch us to see if we're truly sharing our gift, and our gift is our uniqueness. So instead of getting stuck in all of the negative of the situation and of the perceptions and of the people and all of the things, focus on the positive. I hope that, this a little bit of self-talk and a little bit of kind of mental self-therapy helped out, and that you are able to use these tips. Please remember that I am new here, so I would love to hear your feedback. I'd also love to connect with you on Instagram. I will leave my link below. Also, if you liked this video, please click like or subscribe or both. I would really appreciate it. Have a great day.